Welcome to Flash Tutorial Request 77 Jigsaw Puzz Levels. This is a request to make more than one level, so meaning when you finish a puzzle you have an option to go to the next puzzle, like that. I'm starting off by opening up the Flash Tutorial CS538 Jigsaw's Puzzle Part 2. It's actually called Flash CS5 Tutorial 38 Jigsaw Part 2. That's what I have opened on my stage, and I'm locking all the layers. I'm coming up to the borders, inserting a layer and calling it frame, FRM LABs, as in frame labels. I'm going to click on this first frame, open the properties panel. It should say frame up here, and call it intro, INTRO. Intro. Coming up to 10 frames, insert a blank keyframe. Make sure it says frames over here in the properties panel, calling this LEVEL level 1. Then come up to about 20, insert a blank keyframe. This one's level 2. And up to 30 and insert a blank keyframe. So that's where my 3 different things are going to be. This is if you want to put some extra stuff in, that's up to you. Lock in that layer. Select the borders layer, insert a layer, call it buttons. BUTTONS, and select that frame 1. Make the size of the stage fits the window, and somewhere around here we're going to make a button, so I'm going to pick up my oval tool. I want my black for my stroke, I want red for my fill, and I'm going to make an oval here. Pick up my selection tool, highlight it, modify it, convert it to a symbol, make sure button is selected, type. I'm calling it GOTO with a capital G, then capital LEV as in level 2 underscore BTN. Go to level 2 underscore button, copy that, close it. While it's still highlight it, you can see that blue around it, open the properties panel and type in that instance name, or paste in that instance name. Close it, double click on it. Now we're inside that button. This is the layer with the oval, OVAL. Lock that layer, insert a layer, call this text, TEXT, text. Select that frame, and over here open up your text tool, make a text box. Gotta unlock the text level. Make a text box, open the properties panel. I think 17 points might be too big. I'm going to go down to 13, Times New Roman. Make sure static text is selected, and I'm going to go with black, and I'm going to write in capitals GOTO, enter LEVEL space 2. Go to level 2. Pick up my selection tool and put that in the middle here, and I'm going to just actually pick up my free transform tool and make it a little bit bigger so it fits inside of there. Back to scene 1. So now we want to write some code that's going to work with this new button we've added. So make sure all the layers are locked. Unlock the action script layer, open the actions panel, and that's the code that is for the level 1. So the first thing we want to do is go up to level 1 here and insert a blank keyframe. Go back here to this actions layer, open the actions panel, right click, select all, right click, copy. We're going to copy all that. Come back to this here, this new level we just made, and paste it in here. So now all this action code is up here for us. Go back here, open the actions panel, and delete all this code that's in here. Go back to this frame 1 of the actions panel, open it, type. We're going to make some variables. We're going to make some variables, and this is to count each time that we've put a piece in its place, and when we have all the pieces, then we know we can go to the next level. So I'm making a variable, VAR turns purple, LEV1 CNT, that's level 1, the count, that's going to count the number of pieces we got together, colon, number, capital NUMBER turns blue, equals 0, semicolon. Copy that, paste it 4 times. And then here, make this one say level 1 P1, as in piece 1, level 1 P2, level 1 P3, level 1 P4. Go back to the timeline, come up to this next actions frame, open it up, and now we hit the targets. So we're coming down where we hit the targets. Here's where target 1 gets hit. It's around line 21-ish. After this, we're removing the pieces, put an enter, and type this code. Level 1 P1, that's that variable we just made, equals 1, semicolon. Copy that. Come down to the next one. Paste it. Make this piece 2. Come down to the next one. Right here it says if target 3. Paste it. Make this a 3. And finally down to the last piece for my puzzle. If you got 100 pieces, you have to do 100 of these. Paste it and make this piece 4. Now it would be a good time to click here, drag it down like that. So I got all these 3 layers. Right click, insert a keyframe. That brings all that information up to there. And let's open this action panel here again, this frame. Open it up, go to the very top, and up here put a couple enters. My arrow key puts me up. Stop. S-T-O-P, open close bracket, semicolon. All right, I'm at the actions frame. I think it's around frame 10-ish, and I'm going to, there's 2 curly brackets. I'm getting after this one, and in between them, now between them, a couple of enters, and type. This is a test. It says if turns purple, open bracket, level 1 P1, LEV1 P1, that's that variable, plus level 1 P2 plus level 1 P3 plus level 1 P4 equals, need 2 equal sign, 4, close bracket, open bracket, close bracket. There's an open curly bracket, and then when you start to type this second curly bracket probably comes in for you. If not, you have to put it in. Trace, T-R-A-C-E, turns blue. Open bracket, quotation marks, OK, close quotation, close bracket, semicolon. So each time I put a piece where it's supposed to be, this level 1, these ones here become a 1, and when I got them all done, they add to 4, and it will trace that to let us know it's working. There's one in place, another one in place, another one in place, and it traces OK, so that is working. Now we want to write the code that this button works with. So let's go back to the main timeline, back to this first frame, open the actions panel, put a couple enters in, and type this code. Go to level 2 underscore BTN, that's the name we gave to this button. Period, add event listener, small a, capital E, capital L, that all turns blue. Open bracket, mouse event, capital M, capital E, that turns blue. Period. mouse underscore down, all that's capital letters, uppercase, comma, and that's, we want to call this function GOTOLEV2, capital G, capital T, capital L, close bracket, semicolon. Function, FUNCTION, turns purple. Copy this, paste it here. Open bracket, event, colon, copy mouse event, paste it here. Close bracket, colon, void. Void turns the same color as function. There's the open curly bracket for this function. There's the closed curly bracket. And in between them, go to and stop. Small g, small t, capital A, capital S, open bracket, quotation mark, level 2, close quotation, close bracket, semicolon. That's the next level. That's the frame name. Let's go back to the main timeline for a minute. And let's select this frame labels layer, insert layer. I'm going to just call it temp, T-E-M-P. And I'm selecting this frame right here, right click, insert a blank keyframe. Selecting the one after it, insert a blank keyframe. Going back and selecting this one that's in line with this action script. And I'm just going to pick up a text box and put a great big text box here. On LEVEL 1. On level 1. And I'm going to put a right here, insert a blank keyframe, and after that one insert another blank keyframe, and right here text tool ONLEVEL 2. Now I want to make sure this button is sending us to level 2. Control test movie test, and I don't have to do all this, but I'm doing it. And it says here we're on level 1, and now we're going to, so I know that button works, but I don't want to see that button during all this time. I only want to see it after the puzzle is together. So we got to do a little footwork to do that. So let's go to frame 1 of our actions layer, open the actions panel, and we're going to declare another variable. Type, VAR, BUT, capital B, L2, colon, number equals 0, semicolon. This is tell me that a count has been done. Well, we'll see. We'll see what this does. I now want to come down here, enter, and type in these two lines. Type. The first one is this but L2, which was a 0. I'm going to say equals 1, semicolon. And at the same time, this button, copy this, go to lev 2 button, period, X should turn blue, equals, I'm saying 1480, semicolon. So when we press the button, it's going to fling off to the side where we can't see it. If I didn't have this code here about this button L2 variable, the action script would always bring the button back to me. The button would always be sitting there. Let's go back to the timeline. Let's pick up this action code on this frame and come down the bottom, right down here. Here's where I'm seeing that those 4 pieces are where they were. This is what's going to always be putting this button back to where it is. So what I got to do is in here, type, add this, plus BUTL2. That's that variable we just made. And we made it a 0. So the first time it comes through and all the pieces are together, this would be true. But as soon as I press that button, this would be false, and it won't cause a looping for me. And because we're going to here, put in another line of code, paste. That's the same button. Go to lev2 underscore btn period x equals 480. That's bringing it back on the stage for me. Okay, so now, but if I look here I'm seeing the button, so I don't want to see the button. So unlock this layer, select this frame right here, make sure all the other layers are locked, make this 25%, pull this playhead back to the first frame, select that first frame of this buttons layer, make sure the layer is unlocked, open the properties panel and highlight that button, and its X coordinate is 480. That's where I got that 480 from. Now, holding your shift button down, hit your right arrow key a couple times and get that way off to the side like that. Lock it. Now let's test this out. It says I'm on level 1 here. That's good. I'm on level 1. Now when this piece comes in, the button should appear. Now when I click the button goes away and I go to level 2. So now we got to get rid of this. So now we actually go to level 2. So let's, on the actions, insert a blank keyframe, open the actions panel here and put a stop, S-T-O-P, open close bracket semicolon for now. We want it so these pieces aren't here after we press that button. Click after that, stop, put a couple enters, and type. So now when we come to this frame here, we're going to tell those pieces, piece 1 underscore MC period X, that's its X coordinate, equals 1400. 1400 is way up here somewhere. Copy it and paste it, call it piece 2, piece 3, piece 4. Now, if you want the border to move, if you want to leave the border, you can just leave it like it is, if you want to keep this border. If you don't, then click right here on the borders line, insert a blank keyframe, and now the border will disappear too. So let's test this out. Okay, that's good. 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 The button appears and everything goes away and we're on level 2. Like I say, if you want to keep the border, you could have kept that in there. And if you got this extra keyframe right here, just click on there and drag that to the right and that gets rid of it. Alright, what you got to do now is repeat this whole thing for level 2. So all this code that you had here, all this code has to be entered in here after this. But for example, where you're calling this level 1 CNT and level 1 P1, at the end of each of them put an L2 or make it level 2 somehow, distinguish it from something else. So you cannot use the same movie clip names, you cannot use the same function names, and the easiest way to get around it, for example here, is when you get up here writing these functions, call this drag P3 level 2, okay? These pieces, this target would be target 3 level 2. I think you can do that. We have this temp layer and we wrote in here like on level 1, on level 2. That was just to help us. So instead of removing that layer, just double click here and make it a guide. Click guide, okay, and you'll know it's a guide because you got this little ruler thing here, and that way there you won't see this when you run this video. I think that's it. Hope you learned something from this tutorial, and I hope you use what you learn.